Hi, this is Andy Usick with ARC Systems. Today we want to demonstrate the SalesForce connector for the ARC Experience Sync module. The scenario we have for today's demonstration is that we've prepared a special offer for our customers to receive a free sample of our product. We've used a list that we've prepared out of SalesForce and sent out through our email engagement platform to allow people to claim their free offer. The email that we're sending out contains a link to a Sitecore landing page. And on that URL, we've added a query string parameter that identifies the visitor when they land on the Sitecore landing page, because we've put their email address on the query string. Now, this offer isn't limited to just prospects that receive the email. We want to allow anybody to sign up for this free offer, because that'll help us build up our prospect list. We also have prospects that have been referred to us by partners. We have a business rule that says when someone's been referred to us by a partner, they have to go to the partner to claim their free sample. It's because our partners want to be able to keep track of those interactions. And of course, we always have the possibility that somebody might reach the landing page by some other means than clicking the email link. They may have just navigated to it. They may have been given the URL for a friend of theirs. In any event, we want to allow them to self-identify so that they can become a part of our prospect list, and so they can receive their free offer. So the functional requirement that we've been given for this scenario is that if an unidentified visitor lands on the landing page, they don't have their email address on the link, they just happen to navigate to them, we want to show them the sign-up form and let them self-identify by filling out the self-identification form. If somebody lands on the landing page through that email link and we see their email address on the query string, we want to automatically pull their contact from SalesForce, create a contact in XDB, associate that contact with the current session, and then we want to customize the page to show them the claim form. We also want to take a look at the data that we received from SalesForce, and if the visitor is a partner referral, we want to personalize the page so that they see that they have to go to their partner to claim their free offer. If someone self-identifies, either because they clicked an email link with their email address or because they have filled out their email address in the little self-identification box, we also want to trigger a goal in Sitecore, register that in XDB, and we are also going to sync that back later to SalesForce. We want to ensure that that goal and any other goal that the visitor happens to trigger while they're on the page to get synced back to SalesForce at the end of the visit. We also want to make sure that if the visitor happens to change their profile in Sitecore, for example, they change the spelling of their name, we want to make sure that we sync that back to SalesForce also at the end of the session. So let's move over to the demo. This is a SalesForce contact page. If you're familiar with SalesForce, you've probably seen this many times. We're going to just very quickly create a new prospect in the database. We're going to call him Joe Prospect and create him. And now he's a prospect in our SalesForce contacts. So presumably what we would do now is segment a list out of SalesForce, take that over to our email marketing platform, prepare an email over there that includes the links back to the Sitecore page, and mass email that to everybody. Joe would receive that in his inbox, and he would see this free offer. And the offer that was, the link for the offer was formed in the email like this. You'll see that we've added his email address to the query string. That's something that our email platform took care of for us. When he clicks that link, he's going to be taken to the Sitecore landing page. What happened there is that Sitecore reached out to SalesForce, got the visitor's contact out of SalesForce, pulled it back into Sitecore, added it to the experience database, and associated the current session with that contact. So now Joe's being greeted, he's recognized as the current visitor, and he's being shown the customized version of this page that allows him to claim his free offer. So presumably he'd fill this form out and say, okay, we're going to just simulate that real quick with a little tool that we've added to the page just for the demo that allows us to trigger a goal at will. So now we can see, and again, this is just for demonstration purposes, we're echoing back from the experience database that these two goals have occurred during this session. Joe might continue to browse around the site. Time would go by, his idle period would elapse, and his session would end. Again, for demonstration purposes, we've got a little button down here that allows us to end the session. And now that the session is ended, when we go back to Salesforce and we look at Joe's contact, we can see that his two goals have been synchronized back into Sitecore. Another thing that might happen is if Joe were to come to this page and he's claimed his prize, and while he's there, he might have edited his name because he likes his name to be spelled formally. And when his session ends, we're going to flush that change also back in to Salesforce. We refresh the Salesforce page. Sometimes that takes a few seconds to update. There it is. Joseph Prospect is now that visitor's name. Now, it's possible that somebody may have reached the landing page. Let's just go to a new window and go to the landing page. And this is what the page looks like to any visitor who comes to the site who did not receive the email and didn't follow a link with their email address on the link. You can see that our demo site is telling us that that visitor is not recognized. Now, it may be Joe, and Joe just didn't come here through the link in the email. He got here by some other means. So Joe fills out the self-identification form that we've put there because he's already registered, and clicks go. Again, the module has reached out to Salesforce, pulled in his contact information, and treated him as if he came in right there off of the email, off of an email link. Now let's say that when we set Joe up here in Salesforce, that we set him up where his lead source was partner referral. It means he was referred to us by a partner, and our business rules say that we can't give him the offer directly. He's got to contact his partner. So if Joe were to have clicked the link off of his email in that case, we've customized the page to say, oh no, this offer is only available through your partner. That's just a customized version of the page that hides the form and shows him this information to tell him he's got to go to his partner. Now, we're still tracking his interactions during the course of this visit. You can see that, we did notice that he came in off a Salesforce link. And when the session ends, just like before, that's going to be flushed back to Salesforce. And you see that there have been additional occurrences where the Salesforce link has been clicked. So in another scenario, we said that people could reach this page that haven't already registered. We don't already have them in our Salesforce contact database, but we want to allow them to sign up because that helps us gather new prospects. So we're going to allow Jane Prospect sign up, Jane at prospect.com. What's going to happen now is the module is going to go to Salesforce and see that that visitor doesn't already exist, and they're going to create a new contact both in XDB and in Salesforce, where it's going to track all of the goals that the visitor achieves. For example, they might have claimed offer number 1. And at the end of their session, it's going to synchronize all of that with Salesforce. And now we've got information about this visitor in our Salesforce database. Go back to our contact list, and we notice that Jane Prospect is now here. And her offer 1 claim goal has been registered in Salesforce. So this allows us to capture new visitors in Sitecore, both in XDB and in Salesforce. We've seen how we can customize content. We've seen how a new visitor could sign up. We've seen how people could self-identify, and we've seen how we can close the loop from an email address on an email link all the way through Sitecore to Salesforce and back again. If you're curious about how that works in Salesforce, or in Sitecore rather, you can see that we've got this page that's got some renderings put in it. This is like the primary thing where we're showing them the main text on the page, and we see that there are 3 different personalization sets for this. The default one simply says show them the landing page, and that landing page has the 2 forms on it. The second variation says that when we've identified them as a Salesforce contact, because we've looked at their we've pulled their data in from XDB, or their Salesforce data is already associated with their XDB contact, we want to show them the synced contact version of the form. And if we've examined their Salesforce profile and we see that they're a partner referral, we want to show them the partner referral version of this content. The other renderings on the page have similar customizations, except in these cases, rather than change the content, what we want to do is hide the content, because we don't want people to be able to fill out this form if they're not identified as Salesforce contacts. So what we've seen during this demonstration is that we are able to identify a contact by their email address and pull their data from Salesforce into XDB. We've personalized content on the page based on whether or not we know that they're a Salesforce contact, because their Salesforce data was either pulled in or already existed on their XDB profile record. We've personalized content based on the value of a field in Salesforce. In this case, we use the partner referral field, but through configuration, we can synchronize any field that we want through Salesforce, and we can create conditions that act on those fields. So we're not limited to just that partner referral field. It could be any field that we're tracking Salesforce and syncing to Sitecore. We also show that we push contact changes back to Salesforce, like when somebody changed the spelling of their name, and that we push the goal data back to Salesforce at the end of the session. Now, the module, you may not want to engage in all these interactions. You may not have forms like this. You may not necessarily need to personalize based on Salesforce data, but we still want to be able to synchronize Salesforce data to XDB and the goals that occur during a visitor's session in Sitecore back into Salesforce. We want to keep that kind of two-way synchronization going so that the 2 platforms are sharing information with each other. Out of the box, a typical flow would already do that. If somebody came in through an email link, we would identify them. We would synchronize their Salesforce data. We would pull their Salesforce data into Sitecore. We would allow them to surf around. They might trigger goals. They might change their contact information. And at the end of every session, we're going to push identified contacts data back into Salesforce, both their contact changes and their goal table. So that's it for our demonstration of the Salesforce connector for the Sitecore Experience Sync module. If you've got more questions, please give us a contact here at ARC. You can reach our generic mailbox at marketing@arc.com or call us at the number on your screen. Thanks for your time.